How's it going, everyone? Today I'm going to go over some measurements of controlling silica dust when demoing out concrete work. So typically it's your standard PPE that you would want to use. I installed this face shield on my helmet just for the other part of the demolition, but for now we'll just take that off. We'll start with your helmet. Put this thing on, clip it depending on where you have to use type 2, right? So do that, get your vest here, and then in another world I'm wearing jeans and boots too, so let me grab these guys, right? And so when it comes to demolition of concrete, you definitely want to have some kind of eye protection as well as hearing protection. So you have these hearing buds to help you mitigate noise from tools such as the chop saw with the diamond blade that's meant for concrete cutting, and grinding and suction of dust with vacuum, or when breaking concrete, the jackhammer drill. So I can see myself here. So when going about cutting concrete with your chop saw, you have a couple ways of mitigating silica, and it's abstracting it with the vacuum as you go, or the water method. Some chop saws actually come prepped. As you can see, this one has the spout for it to drop in, and your water hose connection right here for that water mitigation. So all you do is just connect the garden hose connect into there, and as you cut, it drops water in so silica does not fly anywhere or any kind of dust and debris. Typically when you want to cut with this, you want to use, this is like your first line of defense is your glasses. Other line is when you have a face shield. You want to have a face shield with this kind of stuff, or your hard hat. It just helps you with more debris coming at you, for it to not actually, be in contact with your face or your skin or anything like that. Another basic part of PPE you want to do, forgot to mention as well, is a pair of gloves. Always wear gloves when doing this, because you don't want to be in contact with any kind of silica dust with the skin, right? So don't do that. So that's for the chop saw. That's one way of controlling the dust, is the water method. As far as grinding goes, when you're grinding down concrete, that's my field. That's typically what we use grinding for. As you can see, this one has a connection for a vacuum here. So as you grind, it helps mitigate the dust. And when you're grinding, actually, this is where the K95 kicks in, because you're in such close contact. You want to be wearing a respirator mask. So I'll show you here. See where those metal clamps are? You just want to put it right over there. Just secure it to your face. So as you grind, you have this vacuum working it, but you have a respirator as well, so you're able to breathe non-contaminant air, right? So kind of helps you in that aspect, keeps away the dust. So now you have two forms of protection against silica while grinding any kind of concrete. Put this down here. When grinding with this, all this adapter is just you plug this guy in right here. That's about it. As you grind, it's sucking out all the concrete, any debris, any kind of dust that it's forming from the grinding. So it'll just catch that, throw that into the vacuum. And when you're drilling into concrete with a rotary hammer or anything like that, if you want to clean up the surface debris, this is where this silica boot comes in. This silica boot is again connected into your vacuum, and when you're ready to clean the surface of the residue of the silica, all you do is just run this boot right over it, swoops it right up. This silica boot is meant for that. It helps abstract all of that silica dust all in one go. And in that topic of drilling, when you also are drilling into concrete, there's, for instance, you're doing like a fix to drill in epoxy anchor bolts, for instance, right? At the bottom of that drill, as you're drilling up, you have that residue where that silica boot kicks in and takes the top. This is another drill bit you attach into your rotary hammers, but it has a plug-in for your vacuum as well. So you'll still connect this into your rotary hammer, and you have this on your vacuum. And when you drop down into the hole, say, depending on your embedment, right? There's longer ones. This one's like about like a foot one, like a 12-inch, right? Yeah. So you'll just stick this into the hole while this is plugged in, and the bottom of these have holes. As you can see, they're meant to just suck out any of the dust or any debris to clean out at the very bottom of the concrete of the depth that you drilled in there. So suck out all that, and it'll, on the surface level of it, when it's sucking up all that dust, you're not gonna be inhaling it or anything like that. So that's another method about controlling and mitigating that. When it comes to breaking concrete, that's where this face shield comes in. I had a jackhammer, but I actually had to return it. But when you're dealing with a jackhammer, that's when you want to have this protection on, this face shield, because you're not dealing more so with the dust of the silica dust. It's more debris coming right at you. So this is a good way to help you protect yourself from any kind of debris smashing into your face as you're drilling with your jackhammer, right? And when you're also dealing with that jackhammer, you want to have those plugs, those ears plugs as well, because those jackhammers are very loud, the pressure of the air, and as you continue to beat down, it's gonna only get louder, you know. So I actually was fortunate enough to take Beto's silica dust exposure prevention training. So while I was doing his training, I learned a couple of these things. It's to help you protect yourself from any kind of that dust, and to try to stay away from the contact of it, as far as like your skin, your face, just anywhere in your body. The silica is not good at all, especially when you breathe it. After a while, you can be diagnosed later down the road with like silicosis. Silicosis is just, that is all contaminants in your lungs of all that dust, and it can clog your lungs up, cause very bad health issues in the future, in the long run. And having knowledge of going about silica, right, is a good thing to know. I would recommend taking this class. This shows you a lot of what you got to see when you're on the job sites when it comes to silica, because people oversee it a lot, and they really don't think about, you know, oh, it's just concrete dust, whatever. But when you're around that so constantly, 24/7, you're around your work, it starts to take a toll on your body. So I would recommend, anytime you're working with silica at all, always have one of these on hand, because if it's either cutting or grinding or demoing out, chipping at concrete, you're still gonna have dust at some point. Even if it's mitigated by vacuums or water control, you're still gonna have exposure to silica. So definitely try to cover up as much as you can around your whole body, and not have anything touch your skin or your face or anything like that, because then that's another issue there. So it's like wet concrete. You don't want to have any of that contacting you. Yes, so that is my presentation on silica mitigation and control.